is Module 1 Integer Concepts with Lesson 2 Compare and Order Integers on a Number Line. So first off, let's look at our vocabulary word. It's inequality. And an inequality is a mathematical sentence that shows the relationship between quantities that are not equal. So that means less than or greater than. So this is a less than sign. This is a greater than sign. And we're going to start right up here on the left-hand side. The table below shows the elevations above or below sea level of several lakes. Sea level is considered to be an elevation of 0 feet. So we have all of this right here. So these two right here, they're negative. That means they're below sea level. And now we're going to look at this, and we're going to answer the questions right here. What happens to the elevations as you move right on the number line? So if I have my number line and zeros in the middle, if I move to the right, which is this way, they get positive. So the elevations go up or they increase. So the elevations increase. What happens to the elevations as you move left? So instead of increasing, they decrease. Which lake is at a lower elevation? Springbrook or Forest Lake? So here's Springbrook, and then Forest Lake is right there. And which one's lower? So one's positive, one's negative. It's going to be the one that's negative because that one is below sea level. Forest Lake is above sea level, so it can't be lower. Our next one, which is at a higher elevation? Belden Lake. So Belden is right here as negative 18.5. And then we're looking at Springbrook right there. So Belden is at negative 18.5. Springbrook is at negative 75.2. So Belden Lake is higher because it's closer to 0. And our last one. How can you use a number line to order these elevations? So we can put a number line in, and then we put all the tick marks, and we put them on the dot. If you want to write that down, you can, or you can just leave it blank because we talked about it out loud. And then our car problem right down here. Deshawn, Chris, Tanya, and Austin play a game. Each turn, a player can lose a point or win a point. At the end of the game, the scores are shown right here. Graph the scores of the number line. So first, we have Deshawn with 2. So I'm going to put it right there, and I'm going to write 2 above it. I'm going to check it off. Chris lost 4. So right here with negative 4. Then Tanya lost 5. And Austin got 3. So there we go. Is Deshawn's or Tanya's score higher or greater? So what I should have done, I'm going to go and label them with the letters of the people so we can see them a little better. So Deshawn was at 2, so I'm going to label that with a D. Chris was at negative 4, so that's a C. Tanya right there, and then Austin right there. That will make it a little easier for us to do this. So is Deshawn's or Tanya's score greater? So here's Tanya. She lost 5 points. Deshawn got 2 points. So it is going to be Deshawn. His score is greater. From left to right, do the values on the number line increase or decrease? So if I go from this side to this side, they increase. Is Chris's score greater than Tanya's? So here's Chris, here's Tanya. Yes, it is because he only lost 4 points. She lost 5 points. And then we're going to use the number line to write the scores from least to greatest. How did you find the correct order? So I like when numbers are on number lines because if you put them on correctly, they're on from least to greatest. You start on the left-hand side and you work your way over. So I have negative 5, negative 4, 2, and then 3. Okay, so here's some examples of inequalities for us. Negative 3 is less than 5. Anytime you see a negative number, it's always going to be smaller than a positive number. Then 2 is greater than negative 4. Positive numbers are always going to be greater than negative numbers. And if you need to write these less than and greater than signs down and write down what they are, make sure you're doing that because you will get to use your notes on your test. And if you have this written down, it will be helpful if you sometimes confuse which one's the less than and which one's the greater than sign. Okay, we're on to the check understanding. For check understanding, I want you to try it yourself and then start the video again to see if you know what you're doing, to correct anything that you may have gotten a little wrong, or to fill in something that you may have left blank because you didn't know how to do. So I want you to pause the video for a little bit and then go back into it. Okay, let's look at check understanding. 2 research submarines are exploring a coral reef. Submarine 1 is at an elevation of negative 58 feet. So I'm going to pick that out. Submarine 2 is at an elevation of negative 65 feet. Which elevation is farther from sea level? So, which one of these numbers is closer to 0? That's what you're asking yourself. Negative 58 is closer to 0. So negative 65 is farther from sea level. So negative 65. Or you could have written the submarine number 2. Next, we're going to write an inequality. When we write an inequality, all it has to have between it is a less than or a greater than sign. So, write an inequality, compare negative 24 and 14. So I have negative 24 and I have negative 14. This one is farther away from 0. Numbers that are farther away from 0 on the left-hand side are smaller. So it is less than. And then you can make up your own inequality. So I'm going to write the numbers. Negative 17 is what to negative 15. And if you look here, which one is closer to 0? Negative 15 would be closer to 0. And since we're negatives, this is a larger number than 17. So this is less than. If you need to make yourself like a little number line and put some stuff on there to help you, you most certainly can. Okay, Ron, what do you remember? So, what I want you to do is I want to see what you can do, and then you're going to start it again and see how you did. Okay, let's look at this one right here to start with. This and this number line go together, so let's take a look. The temperatures on 4 mornings are negative 8, negative 2, negative 11, and 0. Graph the temperatures on the number line. So I have negative 8, and write it. Negative 2, write it. Negative 11, and we have 0. I'm not going to write the 0 on there because the 0 is already marked for us. So we did this. Next, what was the temperature of the coldest morning? It's all the way down here at negative 11 degrees Fahrenheit. What is the temperature of the warmest